Disc 1. Spiritual Enlightenment, the Damnedest Thing, by Jed McKenna. Copyright 2002, Wise Fool Press. All rights reserved. This book is dedicated to Walt Whitman. Vitam impender vero. Stake life upon truth. Juvenal. Chapter 1. That which cannot be simpler. Stop this day and night with me, and you shall possess the origin of all poems. Walt Whitman. She has just finished enumerating for me the many facets of her spiritual journey, and is now looking to me for a response, hopefully approval, perhaps even praise. I don't really take pleasure in dashing the hopes of pretty young ladies, but that's my job. I'm the enlightened guy. So the reason you're doing all these things, I count them off on my fingers, meditating, praying, chanting, yoga, vegetarianism, attending darshan and satsang with realized beings, donating money to Greenpeace, Amnesty International, and Free Tibet, reading classical spiritual literature, purifying yourself, abstaining from sex, and so on. The reason for all this is... what? She just stares back at me mutely, as if the answer is too obvious to need stating. But it does need stating. I want it out here, in front of us, where we can examine it and poke at it with our pointy little brains. Well, you know, she begins, still not quite believing I actually want her to state something so obvious. Spiritual growth, I guess. I want to, you know, be a better person, and be able to love more deeply, and, you know, raise my vibrational, you know. I'm hanging on every word. Your vibrational what? Frequency? I want to, you know, raise my level of consciousness, to be more in touch with, you know, my inner self, my higher self. I want to open myself up to the divine energy that's, you know, everywhere. Oh, okay. Why? Huh? Why? Why what? Why everything you just said? Why do you want to raise your levels and be in touch and open yourself up and all that? Well, you know, spiritual, enlightenment. Ah, okay. Is that it? You want to be enlightened? She looks at me like it's a trick question, but it's not. It's the first question. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Where's this going? If you know, you'll succeed. If you don't, you won't. That's not just pretty talk. That's the law. Yeah, I guess so. I smile reassuringly. Good. So, the reason you do all this stuff is to become enlightened, to achieve spiritual enlightenment. Does that sound about right? A pause. Yeah, I guess. Well, let's just spend a few minutes talking about it and see if we can make it any clearer. What do you think spiritual enlightenment is? She's giving me the big eyes again, but now a bit of perplexity seeps in. It was so obvious a moment ago that it hardly needed asking. Now it's becoming a little fuzzy. Like God. God mind. Unity? You know, unity consciousness? It's always like this with new students. They do the student thing, I do the teacher thing. I'm never quite sure why they came or when they'll go. The whole process is equal parts fulfillment and frustration. I talk, they listen. They ask, I answer. I speak, they... who knows? They something. How my words are received, or what becomes of them after they leave my lips, is beyond my ability to control. I speak, that's all. The words flow like song and soothe me. That's my thing. Nodding and maintaining a facial expression that conveys interest and receptiveness is her thing. I'm into the speaking, into my words, and how well they represent the underlying ideas. It would be nice to believe that my words were clicking in her mind like the beads of an abacus, but I know they're not, and I'm comfortable with that. Act, but don't reflect on the fruit of the act, said Krishna to Arjuna. Sign me up. It's very simple, I tell her. Enlightenment is truth realization. Not only is truth simple, it's that which cannot be simpler, cannot be further reduced. I can see from her expression that got us nowhere. My bad. I have a copy of the Gita on the table between us. I open it at random with the intention of finding a passage well suited to the subject I'm discussing. Works every time. Gratitude permeates me as I read her this statement by Krishna. I am come as time, the ultimate waster of people, ready for the hour that ripens to their doom. The warriors, arrayed in hostile armies facing each other, shall not live, whether you strike or stay your hand. I fall silent as layers of meaning wash through me one after another, and my appreciation causes a swelling in my chest. Wonderful, I think. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The young girl before me nods, understanding the words at whatever level she is able. She knows that the words are spoken by Krishna, and that he is speaking to Arjuna, the mighty warrior who has thrown down his arms rather than signal the beginning of a war that will surely scorch the earth and his own family to ash. She knows that Krishna is revealing to Arjuna the truth of how the world unfolds, and she knows that at the end of this conversation, the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's delusion will be dispelled and he will launch the battle. But that's probably as far as her knowledge goes. I doubt she identifies herself with Arjuna, paralyzed by confusion at the start of the Gita. I doubt she equates enlightenment with the direct experience of reality in its infinite form. I doubt she knows that in her own life war is coming, and that she is a breath away from giving the signal that will spark the conflagration that will incinerate her world. I look at this young girl, and I know she has no idea where this road really leads. I smile. Unity consciousness is great, I say, and she looks relieved. Mystical union, being at one with the universe, the direct experience of the infinite, bliss, ecstasy, a taste of heaven, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the ability of any words to describe, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. Wow, she says aptly. Her name is Sarah. She's young, early 20s, and I've just pushed all of her spirituality buttons. If I were a guru, that would be my full-time job. I shudder at the thought. Yeah, she rides on it. That's exactly, but that's not enlightenment. Oh. Enlightenment isn't when you go there. It's when there comes here. It's not a place you visit and then remember wistfully and try to return to. It's not a visit to the truth. It's the awakening of truth within you. It's not a fleeting state of consciousness. It's permanent truth realization. Abiding, non-dual awareness. It's not a place you visit from here. This is a place you visit from there. For instance, I myself am enlightened. Right here, right now. I am free of delusion and unbound by ego. And although I have had the great fortune of experiencing mystical union on several occasions, I am not presently in that state, and I have no plans to return to it. Nobody resides in a state of permanent bliss, Sarah. That's just something out of a sales pitch. Whoa, she manages. What I'm trying to do here, Sarah, is get you back to square one. You started off, just like everyone does, in one direction, but enlightenment is in another. What you have to do now is figure out what you really want. Do you want to dedicate your life to the pursuit of the experience of mystical consciousness? Or do you want to wake up to the truth of your being? She spends a few moments thinking about it, and then impresses me with her answer. I guess it makes more sense to figure out what's true first, or else what does it matter, she says. First things first, right? I mean, once I figure out what's true, I can still try to achieve unity consciousness, right? Wow, I laugh appreciatively. Good answer. Yes, figure out what's true, and then you can do whatever you want. Good answers aside, Sarah has not really made the decision she thinks she has. One doesn't select truth realization over mystical union the way one chooses soup over salad. In fact, one doesn't choose enlightenment at all. If anything, one is more likely to be the victim of it, like getting hit by a bus. Arjuna didn't get out of bed that morning hoping to see Krishna's universal form. He was just having a bad day at the office when the universe flashed him. Time to pop the ball back into Sarah's court. So, you're doing all this spiritual stuff because you want to go in a certain direction, right? She nods. You want to develop spiritually, or grow closer to God, or go to heaven, or become enlightened. Something along those general lines? She nods again, looking somewhat bewildered. In short, you're moving, progressing, right? You're heading toward one point and away from another. Another nod. That's pretty much what everybody is doing in the larger sense, wouldn't you say? Moving towards something, away from something else? Another cautious nod, wary, as if I'm setting her up, which, of course, I am. The thing I'd like you to do, Sarah, is tell me specifically what it is you're moving away from and what you're moving toward. Take your time with it. There's no hurry. Treat it like you're writing your own personal mission statement using those two elements, what you're moving toward and what you're moving away from. Okay? She looks a little panicked by the idea. Hey, I reassure her. No worries, Mon. All we're doing is taking a closer look at where you're going and what you're getting away from. It's not astrophysics. Just file your flight plan in the most economical terms. That doesn't sound so hard, does it? I guess not. It's not a race. It's just life. There's no finish line, no winners or losers. Give that some thought, too. It all ties in together. Come see me in the next few days and let me know what you come up with. Sarah labors under the same misconception everyone does. She believes, in the broadest sense, that something is wrong and that she can make it right. What that something is, what's wrong with it, and how it can be fixed all differ from person to person. But the general pattern is always the same. The truth, though, is that nothing is really wrong. Nothing is ever wrong, and nothing can be wrong. It's not even wrong to believe that something is wrong. Wrong is simply not possible. As Alexander Pope wrote, one truth is clear. Whatever is right. Wrongness is in the eye of the beholder, and nowhere else. The perception of wrongness, however, is absolutely critical to the perpetuation of the human drama, right up there with the illusion of separateness and the certainty of free will. Drama requires conflict,